Welcome, Emily.
Hi, Dr. Marcelo.
Hi. It's so good to see you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for agreeing. I'm so excited that you're with me today. So, I
Of
want to
course.
welcome everyone to Social Media Side Hustle. I'm Dr. Gina Marcello, and I'm here with Emily Novozinsky.
Close.
Novozinsky.
Novozinsky.
And I've had the pleasure and the honor to work with Emily for the past couple of years, and I've really admired her work ethic, her hard work, and really her mastery of LinkedIn. Emily, you have so much information to share, and I'm so excited for you. You just started your second internship with the company today.
hmm
You're recently graduated.
Yes.
You're living in Texas, moved from New Jersey to Texas
Yep.
because of your dedication and hard work. So I did say a little bit about you, but why don't you tell the people that are watching, and if anyone's watching, please let us know. Type into the Facebook page if you have questions for Emily, which I'm sure you will. This is going to be a great interview, especially if you're interested in the power of LinkedIn and how you can use LinkedIn to not only help you get a job, but also with internships. I think college students in particular really kind of have a hard time trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I get the internship? How do I apply? So, Emily, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your story?
Okay, so my name is Emily Novozinsky. I'm a recent graduate. I am, like Dr. Marcelo said, currently living in Houston, Texas. And I do think that LinkedIn is one of our most powerful tools as marketable people who are more specifically just entering the job world, but also for anybody. LinkedIn is a relatively new tool that people are really starting to react to, and people are really taking LinkedIn to another level and just making it easy to make connections that we wouldn't necessarily be able to make had we not had LinkedIn as a tool.
Right. So you have an all-star profile, but you really worked very hard at building that profile. And I want to talk to you about, like, in the beginning when you first started using LinkedIn, did you struggle with it? With setting it up and what to write and how to present the information?
Yes. So LinkedIn for me has kind of been more of like a trial and error type of thing. And it really did take a lot of work to build up that profile, that all-star profile. But for the most part, like I said, it is just kind of trial and error. But that's why I'm here to try to help you a little bit more
Yeah.
into creating that in a more smooth process.
Yes. And I
I
also wrote
walked so
a book.
y'all could run.
Yes, right, exactly. And I also wrote a book. So if anyone's interested, it's Social Media Resumes, the college edition. And some of what Emily's going to talk about, I taught in some of my classes. I take you step by step, especially it's geared for college students, of really how to figure out how to set the profile up properly. So one of the mistakes that college students typically make when they're setting up their profile, Emily, we're talking about this, is what?
So a big mistake that people make is the first thing right off the bat that everybody sees would be your photo, your bio. So just cut right to the chase.
Just
Don't.
tell it like it is,
I
Emily.
know. If you can avoid using your graduation photo from college, but especially from high school, just try to avoid that. If it's possible for you to go anywhere in your home, get a nice white or black or solid color background, and just take a professional headshot. Have one of your parents do it, have your brothers do it, whatever you need to do, just to get that really simple but clean style. Really avoid having anything too cropped. You don't want to take a group picture and just crop like this part of your head into your LinkedIn profile picture. It's just really important to keep it professional, because that your profile is a direct reflection of you and how you would ultimately perform in the company, and present yourself as you would to a client or to other partners or whomever it may be.
Okay, so let's tell everyone a little bit about your experience with LinkedIn and how you went through this process, because I am just so impressed with how everything has been happening for you. It's really incredible. So you also, and we're also going to talk about on this live, the Walt Disney World and your time there in the college program and as a Disney cast member.
Yes.
So let's talk about Disney first, and then we'll go into LinkedIn, because I think one thing led into the other thing. So when you applied for the Disney college program, why don't you talk a little bit about that experience, about how that happened? Because it really was not necessarily related to LinkedIn, but it was related to your social media. So let's talk about that.
Yes. So I originally applied for the Disney College program back in the summer of 2017, and I and I sorry,
It's okay. That was
I applied to the Disney College program in the summer of 2017, and honestly, I was like, if I get this job, great, and if not,
I
nothing
remember.
lost.
Right.
If my mom is watching, she really wanted me to do it. So
I did too. I was so
yes.
excited for you.
So I just applied for it, and I ended up getting it relatively quickly. And I think that does have to do with my customer service experience. But so anyway, I applied directly through the Disney College Program portal, and that's how every applicant has to apply. So I did that, and then it went to a phone interview, web-based interview, and then a phone interview. And then you have like your ultimate decision made for you by those recruiters.
And it's highly competitive, right, Emily?
It's highly competitive. There are thousands of people that apply, tens of thousands of people that apply for every semester term. And I believe that when I was accepted, they don't tell you the exact numbers in order to preserve the magic, but we believe there were about 2,000 students from all over the world picked to come.
You don't know how many applied, which is a lot, but still very, very highly competitive.
Yes.
Now, in addition to all the other things that you do, you're also a performer. So you had a YouTube channel,
Yes.
and then you created Emily Ever After. What was Emily Ever After? What platform was it on, and what was it about?
Yeah, so Emily Ever After was my vlog series, just to kind of keep track of what I was doing throughout the Disney College program and how I applied and how the interviews went. And then just to kind of showcase the real learning experiences that I did have while I was in Disney. It was on YouTube, and I was able to, just kind of interact with people who wanted to apply and answer any questions that I could have when it came to prospective students applying.
And it got really popular. You hit 1,000 followers, and then you kept growing and growing, and then you were like, uh-oh, you almost hit 2,000 followers. And in Walt Disney World, what happens when a cast member hits 2,000 followers on their social media?
So at the time, I believe it was 2,000 followers. I had about 1,200. And then I got a little worried because once you reach a certain threshold of followers, you have to go to a special like HR training course on what you can and can't post on your social media and what you can and can't say in your vlog. And it's very important for Disney cast members to preserve that magic, like I said, for the guests that come down. And we don't want to ruin it for anybody. We wanted to make sure that everybody had the best time ever while they were there.
Yeah.
And didn't see the background stuff that they weren't supposed to see. So, but I personally just felt a little pressured by that, and I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I didn't want to accidentally put something in there that I wasn't supposed to. So I ended up just canceling the whole channel altogether.
Okay.
I wish I would have done it a little bit longer just to have seen that process. But ultimately, I felt like I wanted to stay with Disney for a little bit longer than just my program, and I didn't want that to be cut off by me saying something in my rambling ways.
Which is really important, especially when you're looking for a job and you're looking for internship, to be really careful on your social media. So corporate culture, when you represent or you work for a company, there very well can be restrictions around what you would or would not be able to say or do with your social media, especially behind the scenes type stuff, which would be things like Instagram lives or maybe even a Facebook live. You have to be super careful and need to know what the restrictions are for the organization so you don't get into any kind of trouble.
Yes, absolutely. The first thing that I think that is the most important thing to remember is that when it comes to social media and you get a job or you're looking for a job, you're not only a reflection of yourself, but you're a reflection as an employee, and how you would represent yourself in the company, and your social media is then becomes a reflection of whatever company that you are working for.
Which then really gets us to LinkedIn.
Yes.
Because you came home,
Mm-hmm.
you set your LinkedIn up, and I remember you came into my office and you said, I'm looking at this company. I really want to work. Why don't you tell the story?
Yeah. So when I was in Disney, this kind of all does go together. When I was
I
in
know.
Disney, the girl that I lived with, we just became like two peas in a pod. I'm now her maid of honor in her wedding next
Oh,
year.
that's so nice.
Yeah. So I came to visit her in Texas, and I was like, I could totally see myself living here for the summer. Like, maybe I'll look for a job here. I've always been very go and do what you want to do while you're young enough to do it. And my parents have always been very supportive of that. So when I said I wanted to go move to Texas, I looked for a few reputable companies that my friend had told me about, and, just different internship opportunities.
And
So,
where did you look?
so I looked on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I knew of a few companies from my friend, and one of those companies is the one that I'm now working for. And so I saw, though, that this company had an internship, a corporate internship experience. And so I was like, this is perfect. Of course I want to go do this. It's a great company. And why not? This is exactly what I'm looking for. So I originally applied for a public affairs position in this company, which is a major grocery chain here based out of Texas. And I was looking through the company page on LinkedIn, and I noticed that I had a connection with somebody who went to my university and who then worked at the company. And
So you noticed an alum
yes.
of the school.
Mhm.
And I have to tell the story. You came to my office and you said, Dr. Marcello, should I reach out to her?
Yes,
And I said,
absolutely.
what's the worst thing that she could say?
Yeah, exactly. She
And
might just keep me on red. It's okay.
right.
Nothing that's never happened before.
Right. And what happened?
So I did ultimately reach out to her, and I just sent her a message, and I said, hi, I know you have no idea who I am, but I also went to this super small university, and I see that you're now working for this company that I want to work for halfway across the country. So is there any advice that you could give me? And she told me that she was personally printing out my resume and giving it to that hiring manager and the HR people, and we just chit-chatted a little bit via LinkedIn, and that really was a great resource for me, because when I got down, I did ultimately get that. I got a corporate communications position instead of the public affairs position, but when I came down, they immediately knew who I was talking to, and they really valued my resource that I used myself of bringing in that LinkedIn aspect into this role, because that's basically what I was doing. I was trying to network, and I was trying to get those connections with people within the company. So that just set the precedent for me. And they kind of knew that I would do a good job of communicating effectively. And then after that, I did keep in touch with the connection that I had, and we got lunch a few times, and I've talked to her as recently as a few weeks ago. So it really was a very valuable connection. And I think that is just the most important thing, is that if you see something like that and you see a small coincidence like that, nothing is a coincidence. And, you should take that, and don't worry about about thinking this person might think I'm weird because I've never met them, and I'm now, sliding into their LinkedIn DMs like that.
I think that is really good advice, but I also have to add that I know that you just didn't randomly try to friend them or just send them a request. It was a very thoughtful and very well written email explaining why you were reaching out to her, and you were not asking her for a job.
Absolutely not.
You were asking her for advice. And I think what a lot of college students might not understand is that people do appreciate being asked for advice, especially in the manner in which she did it, and she was more than happy to help you. But that really would not have been possible had you not taken the time to develop your LinkedIn profile so that it looked very professional. Why don't you share some of your experiences as you have a LinkedIn profile? What are you doing with it, and what are you doing now? Because I find that even more interesting. How this is all, one thing is leading to another. It's incredible.
Yes. So I completed that internship. And at the end of the summer, after it was all completed, I got a call from the HR manager again. And she said that that team would really like to take me back for this summer, which was great. I was more than happy to do that. This was a company that I would love to, establish a career in. And it was just all around a great fit for me. And so, of course, I accepted it. And then coronavirus happened and everything for this summer went remote. And that happened while I was already down here. So my experience ended up changing from doing corporate communications again into going into the HR division. So I'll be working with the corporate HR team this summer. I don't exactly know the fine details of what I'll be doing yet, but
today was your first day, right?
Yes, I'm on my break of my first day.
Oh, I'm so glad that you could do this.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing today. I'll learn a little bit more about it later. And then I'll update you. But yeah, so that's what I'll be doing now. And as far as LinkedIn goes, though, I was able to use that resource again. Just the other day, since I'm now graduated and I'm doing this second internship experience, after.
And is it paid? It's a paid internship?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Right? And
yes.
Disney. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
So after this experience, of course, I'm going to be looking for a full-time position. And especially with a lot of companies and the tough market right now going on hiring freezes and everything, you want to really be proactive with that. And so I was looking for full-time experiences, and the same kind of thing happened. And I took that advice or that experience that I had gotten from reaching out to that connection last summer, and I reached out to, I applied for a full-time position through the portal of this company's website, but there was no section to leave a cover letter. So, which is pretty unusual. You usually can leave a cover letter, which is, just a sidebar, extremely important. Write a cover letter for literally every position that you apply for.
We're going to talk about that in a second, because you were saying some things that were very, very interesting to me, especially about this company because it's based in Texas. So we'll come back to that. Mm-hmm.
So then there wasn't a space for a cover letter. I reached out, I looked on LinkedIn again, and I typed in the company name and talent coach. So I looked for somebody in the position that I was looking for. And I found one of the managers. And again, I messaged her and I said, hello, there was no section to leave a cover letter. So I just wanted to reach out to you here and tell you that I did apply for this position. I'm not, I'm just a recent graduate. I did acknowledge my downfalls or my weaknesses. And I do think that's important to talk about, like, while this isn't, I would just like to speak with you a little bit about this position and just get some insight, or, if you have any experience or advice for me. Right. And again, she messaged me back and she was like, thank you so much for reaching out. Most people would just not see a space for a cover letter and move on. And so, like, this was a great resource. I was able to set up a phone interview with her. We talked a little bit about it. And while that wasn't the right fit for me, she led me to a bunch of different opportunities and even established another connection. So that's then two connections that I wouldn't have had I not taken that step to reach out.
Right. It's amazing. So it's amazing that you're able to do that through LinkedIn, that you have the initiative, that you're very, very focused. I want to talk to you now about the resumes, because it was something really interesting that you said to me about applying for resumes, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that and what you did in that process.
Yes. So last year, like I said, I was in corporate communications, but I really am very interested in HR. So I'd spent a few days shadowing a few people in the HR department. And one of the most valuable pieces of advice that she gave me was that a lot of companies, or a lot of states in general, will look at the way that a resume is laid out. You don't want something that's too busy if you're just applying for a regular old corporate position that that's just kind of off theme for what their company brand is. Mm-hmm. So, for example, my resume is tailored to Texas in the way that It's used.
Wait, stop. What do you, so someone might be listening to this and saying your resume is tailored to
Yes,
Texas. What does that mean
yes.
exactly?
So this woman told me that that she looks for this specific type of resume, which can be found on the Texas A&M career page, Texas A&M University career page, or University of Texas career page. And it's just a very clean style resume, and that's how they can tell that they have really done their research on what the company is and what they like, and that kind of brand that the company is with.
That is so insightful, right?
Mm-hmm.
To think that where is this company based,
Mm-hmm.
right? And because it is a food chain that caters to Texans,
Mm-hmm.
really, and the
Yes.
Texas diet. You were telling me
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that were offered. They're foods that we wouldn't get in New Jersey.
Tailored to Texas taste buds is what they say.
Right, that's the tagline. So
Yes.
really knowing the company and doing that research and really listening, asking questions, and networking is what the power of LinkedIn is. But you need to be really smart about it and listen.
Yes, there's nobody is going to do this work for you. You definitely have to. Applying for a job is like studying for an exam. You have to, learn the company culture. You have to learn, how you would carry yourself in this specific position, or just within the company in general. So, you have to look for those things. And so, with that, I would just recommend finding out, like I said, where your company is based. And looking at your local state university's career page and see if they do have a resume template. However, if you're applying to a job, I saw a TikTok of this girl who was applying to a job at TikTok. And so she created, as part of her resume, a TikTok of her resume. And she ended up getting the job. So it's extremely creative. If you're in a creative field like that, that is something to definitely take advantage of. Just kind of go outside the box. Like I said, it's the same thing as messaging somebody on LinkedIn that you don't know. Don't worry about somebody thinking, oh, well, they're going to think this is weird. The worst thing they're going to do is say no, and you're going to be able to find another job.
Right. I think people get overwhelmed, but
Yes.
sort of like even when you're house shopping or you're selling your house, and
Mm-hmm.
at some point you'll be at that position, you only need one buyer.
Mm-hmm.
For your house if you're selling your house, right? And you only need to find one house. You're not buying 1,000 houses. You just need one job. So,
Yes.
but it should be a good fit. It needs to be the right job, and they're looking for one candidate. And so all these little things, Emily, that you've mentioned are ways that recent graduates or even people that have been laid off and they're looking for jobs, they might need to retool and rethink, how do I differentiate myself in a positive way? So as we're coming to the half hour, I'm going to ask anyone watching, if you have any questions, please, for Emily, please feel free to put them on Facebook. I'll make sure I share that with her. But I want to ask Emily, what are your suggestions for LinkedIn? What would you say you should really pay attention to if you're newer to LinkedIn or you have a profile and it's not an all-star profile? What should you do?
So, of course, you want to start with a good photo, like I said, and then move on to your bio. As you're writing your bio, you just want to keep in mind who you're trying to attract. And when you do attract that person, you want to give them a reason to stay on your LinkedIn page.
When you say who you're trying to attract, so let's talk about that for a second, because I think for some recent graduates, even people that might be looking to pivot in their careers, they're looking at everything. Would you say look at everything, or would you say focus on something that you might really want to do? What is your advice?
My advice would be to figure out where you want to be physically, location-wise, and then look for career opportunities or reputable companies within that region. And then create your bio according to that. So for me, when I was applying for internships last year, I said college junior seeking internship opportunity in Houston, Texas. And that was great. That it's straight to the point. You don't want to add too much information. Don't add any emojis, that kind of thing. Like just keep in mind that LinkedIn is not Facebook. LinkedIn is not Instagram. You don't necessarily want to put all of your personal beliefs on LinkedIn. You want to make LinkedIn a reflection of your resume. You want anything that you want somebody to see on your resume, you want them to see on your LinkedIn page.
Well, let's talk about the power of that too, because someone might post something and let's say you like it and it's very politically charged.
It will show up on all of your networks pages, which is fine. If you want that to reflect you, that is absolutely your prerogative. And I think that people are free to like and dislike what
But
they
just be aware. The fact,
yes.
the point for me is that you just need to be aware of the fact when you like something, it ripples through the network and everyone can see what you like.
Yes, and if you comment on something, and also, you know, as far as comments go, it's like I said, LinkedIn is not Facebook. You're not going to go trying to get into any LinkedIn comment fights. Like, just avoid that at all costs, because everybody can see it, and that is
and it is intended to be a professional platform as opposed to Facebook, which is more friends and family.
Right. I would just ultimately say, like, act on LinkedIn the way that you would act in the workplace, in your, you know, in your own office space. Treat people on LinkedIn the way that you would treat your own coworkers, whether they work for your company or not. I just think that it's very important to know that all social media is a reflection of yourself, but most importantly, LinkedIn, because any potential job recruiter could see that.
What do you say about, you know, your bio section? So you have your headline and then your bio. Would you have it long, short? What are your thoughts on that?
I personally just like to keep it short and simple. Like I said, I just put college junior seeking internship opportunity in Houston, and now I think my bio is corporate community, or whatever my role is for my company and my location. So that is, you know, just what I personally like to put on there, and just keep it really professional, but short and sweet.
So your LinkedIn is a living document, is basically what you're telling me. And as you grow and as you have different experiences, you constantly update your LinkedIn profile.
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, we were talking about applying for jobs. What are your thoughts on LinkedIn Easy Apply? Do you think that the recruiters are looking at it or not?
I do. I do think that they do look at LinkedIn Easy Apply. I think that it just makes it a little easier on everybody's part to use a portal if you can. Usually they are linked in the LinkedIn. They're linked within the description of the job that you're looking for on LinkedIn. So I just think it's a little bit easier to do that, just because then the company will automatically have all of your information in the database, rather than having to go through a few different channels.
We were talking about, I don't know if we talked about it during this live, but what about keywords and phrases? Because you were telling me when you applied for jobs, you really changed the keywords and phrases. Yes. So why don't you speak to that?
So as you tailor your resume or tailor your cover letter to the job that you're applying for, you definitely, or, you know, tailor the cover letter for the job that you're applying for. You want to tailor your resume as well. For Disney specifically, I knew that one of their buzzwords is guest, because they call their visitors or customers guests. So I just made sure that I went into my resume and I did a little control find and replaced customer with guest. And it's just as easy as that. You want to just make sure that you are keeping in mind the company culture and showing the recruiter that you are paying attention to their culture and to their values and everything.
Excellent. And any last minute thoughts? Because we're just about at a half an hour. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. Emily, I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm so excited for you. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. And I'm just impressed with your work ethic and your ability to really know what you want and to go after it and go with the flow at the same time. Because the Disney led to the first internship, which led to Texas, which led to the next internship. So making the right moves, or at least making a move in the right direction, to me, really, in this case, it came down to LinkedIn and your network. You know, LinkedIn is a networking platform. We don't want to forget that. So the better your network, the richer the network, the more helpful it is.
Absolutely.
Well, I have no questions. I want to thank everyone for watching. And Emily, I want to thank you so much. And I wish you the best of luck. And I want to have you back in a couple of months after your internship's over, because I want to hear how it went. Now, just tell us what so I know you said you were going to work on developing training materials, right? That's one of the things you're doing for your job?
Yes. So I'm not really exactly sure the fine details yet. I think I'm going to
Okay.
find them out around 3 o'clock.
Okay.
So I will be able to kind of elaborate a little bit more on that. But yeah, so I'll be working in the corporate recruiting team, more specifically with college recruiting. So
if anyone is interested, you can reach out to Emily
yes,
on
please
LinkedIn.
feel free. My LinkedIn DMs are always open. I'm happy to give you advice. I'm happy to look over resumes. I'm happy to do that kind of thing because I feel like that's something that I really tried to perfect in these past few years. And with the help of Dr. Marcello and all of these classes, and just like I said, trial and error has really, really benefited. So I'm happy to help anybody else in any way that I can.
Bravo, Emily. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll be back in 2 weeks, and we're going to have another guest on who's going to talk about Twitch, which is a
Awesome.
gaming platform.
Thank
Excellent.
you so much for
Thanks,
having
Emily.
me.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.